I have a 6 o'clock. I'd like to call to order the Wednesday, August 18th, 2021, 6 p.m. regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Committee. Looks like the members are present except for who's Miss Mitchell? And okay, so you have attendance, quorum is present. The public forum, I'd like to go ahead and allow citizens to come up and talk about items that are not on the agenda. If you wish to do so, please limit to 3 minutes. Does anyone here wish to address the Planning and Zoning Committee about items not on the agenda? I'm seeing no one. I'd like to go ahead and close the public forum. Oh, anyone online? Any hands raised online? Public forum. Okay, great. The consent agenda. There's 2 items there. One's the minutes from last meeting. One's about the fire station. Very straightforward. Hopefully you had a chance to look at it over before the meeting. If you have, and there's no questions or concerns for the consent agenda only, I'd like to entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that the consent agenda be approved.
Could I have a motion? A second.
I'll second the motion.
Good. I have a motion, a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Great, that passes unanimously. So moving on to the public hearing. That's item 3 on our agenda. Hold a public hearing to discuss, consider, and act upon a request by Colin Helffrich, PE, to approve a replat of Stoney Creek Phase 4B Lot 2R and 24R at the northwest and southwest corners of the Fenwi Drive and Skyline Trail. And this will be on pages 9 to 12 of our booklet. Bill?
This replat consists of 2 residential lots within Phase A of Stoney Creek, adjacent to 4B at the northwest and southwest corners of Fenwick Drive and Skyline Trail. The applicant is requesting to revise the lot lines, removing the alleys that are not necessary for Lot 2R at the northwest corner. This changes the size of the lot from 18,215 square feet to 22,926 square feet. The alley was originally installed as part of Phase 4A with the anticipation that it would serve multiple lots in Phase 4B. As the lot layout was finalized for Phase 4B, this alley would only serve this lot. Therefore, the developer is proposing to remove it, increasing the lot size, and have a front entry garage like the other houses on the north side of Fenwick Drive. Similarly, with Lot 24R, the alley constructed with Phase 4A included a stub out for the anticipated extension of the alley. When the layout for Phase 4B was finalized, the alley was not extended and the stub out was not necessary. This replat adjusts for the lot line of 24R, increasing the size of the lot from 15,909 square feet to 16,852 square feet. The revised lots conform to all development standards and engineering requirements. Letters were sent out to the neighboring property owners within 200 feet of the site. The town has received no response to these letters at this time. Staff recommends approval.
Great, thank you, Philip. Is the applicant here? Sir, if you want to call, I mean, if you haven't, don't feel obligated to come. This is a very straightforward thing. Don't feel obligated, but if you would like to come up, if you do wish to speak, you can. Okay, the applicant's definitely here, and he had questions for the commission, and he's willing to answer them, or questions for Philip, or so to summarize, it's essentially removing alleys that are no longer needed. And I guess the front facing garage is equivalent to what's around it already. I couldn't think of anything that's probably more straightforward. That's just me. Questions for Philip or the applicant? Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. I'm sorry. Foolish me. Does anyone like to come up and speak on this matter? After I get done saying it's the most straightforward thing, I really feel like I'm discouraging public opinion, but I'd love to hear if anyone has any thoughts or concerns, questions. I see no one. Does anyone have their hand raised? Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you for reminding me. I'm gonna go ahead and close the public hearing.
As the owner, as one is Stoney Creek, the other one is Stoney Creek Beauty Community. There's the two homeowners associations.
I have not heard that there's going to be two HOAs. I assume it's going to be one, but I don't know that specifically. Do you have that? We come up to Mike.
Sir, if you go to the mic, just state your name and address.
Colin Helffrich with Daddy Anderson and Associates at 5225 Village Creek Drive, Plano, Texas. Yeah, so there's the master HOA, and then there's actually two, all one gated HOA. There's the 1B and this tract 4, which would be 4A, 4B, 4C, the gated community HOA, which is underneath the overall master. And the reason that we have the two owners is that the HOA owns and maintains the alleys and the streets within the gated section. City owns and maintains the subsurface utilities. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the replat of Stoney Creek Phase 4B, Lot 2R and 24R as presented.
Do I have a motion, a second?
I'll second the motion.
Do I have a motion, a second, all in favor? Anyone opposed? It looks like it passes unanimously. Great, moving on, that's item 4, that's page 13. Thank you, sir. Hold the public, you gotta drive back to Plano in this rain now. Hold the public hearing to discuss, consider, and act upon a recommendation regarding the ordinance changing a zoning of 6 lots totaling 11.604 acres located generally at 300 to 306 US Highway 80 from highway commercial to planned development. This is case 1707. Nope, take it away.
This property is located on the south side of US Highway 80 with the boundary of the town to the west at approximately 11.6 acres. The property is adjacent to Extreme Air Services to the east and Riverstone Trail Apartments to the south. Developer will be purchasing approximately 1 acre of land from Extreme Air Services. They will also be swapping land with the town on the site where a water pump and ground storage tank exist. These land swaps will provide this development access to Planters Road to give the town more land for future expansion of the Riverstone pump station and ground storage tank. This arrangement is not directly part of the zoning request and has been discussed with the town council. Proposed building is shown as 202,000 square feet with 2 driveway entrances, 1 entrance on the east to Planters Road and 1 to the north directly onto US Highway 80 Service Road. The developer is proposing a zoning change of the site from highway commercial to a planned development. The base zoning will remain highway commercial, but will allow for light industrial uses, including light manufacturing distribution by right, and change some development standards laid out by the UDO. Most of the PD standards are being copied from the PD that was approved for the Planters Road light manufacturing and distribution facility that was approved in 2020. Developers proposing a parking standard of 80% of what is required by the UDO. Given the overall design and proposed uses, staff feels that this ratio is more than adequate to accommodate the demand. Applicant is requesting that the requirement for a 1-to-3 slope when adjacent to residential zoning districts not be required. The building has a proposed height of 47 feet. Given the distance between buildings, dense landscaping, existing dense landscaping and height of the Riverstone Trails Apartments, this seems reasonable. To be sensitive to the residential use to the south, there will be no storage or queuing of trucks allowed on the south side of the property adjacent to Riverstone Trails Apartments. Due to the nature of the facility, the applicant is proposing less landscaping interior to the project and instead providing it around the perimeter to enhance the look of the adjacent streets and properties. Staff feels that this approach is in keeping with the intent of the landscape portion of the UDO while providing for the unique challenges of accommodating large trucks with this type of facility. Due to the change of lot layout of Extreme Air Services, the applicant is needing to add screening to meet the ordinance requirement regarding screening for outdoor storage units. The applicant is proposing the facility be screened to the south and west portions of Extreme Air Services with a 6-foot decorative metal fence or chain link with a continuous landscaping along the fence line. The board has been provided a copy of the updated landscape plan that illustrates the intended screening. This plan was not in the packet, but was provided later. Given the unified development ordinance regulations and future land use map, staff feels that the location and use laid out by the plan development meets the intent of the comprehensive plan. Letters were sent to neighboring property owners within 200 feet of the site. The town has received one response letter in favor of the zoning change from RKS Sunnyvale LLC. Staff recommends approval of the request, the revised landscape plan.
Great, thank you, Philip. Thank you, Philip. Is the applicant here? Okay, so let's hear what that has to say.
Eric, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear. Can you all hear me fine? Can you all hear me?
Eric, we can't hear you if you're talking.
I am talking. Let's see. Let's see. Can you hear me now?
Since he's here, and we have some, let's see if there's some public comments while we try to get him to communicate. That okay? I want to go ahead and open the public forum. If there's anyone here that looks to speak on this agenda item, please come forward. Anyone online, maybe we can troubleshoot the online version. Okay. Seeing no one. Hopefully troubleshoot the online version for the commission. This is essentially a person that wants to do a PD, which is a plan development for highway commercial to meet some standards, and we're going to essentially use the base highway commercial that we approved in 2020 for Planters Road, and they want to do light manufacturing distribution and then increase the amount of landscape in the exterior, which seems like a good thing, especially to the south where that residential is. So questions, I think these are, it looks like complex things, but I think it's some staff has worked with, some of the guys worked with the developer a lot. It sounds like a very well kind of oiled thing. I imagine who brokered the deal was Charles or you, Phil, but someone clearly got them to do exactly what we wanted them to do with very low exception. So
I have a question about the tree removal and just how that works. It says that there's 537 total calipers removed and there will be no mitigation.
So the way that it works is they have to do a tree survey, and there are trees that count and trees that don't. Some are called junk trees that the ordinance says don't need to be replaced. Those that do need to be replaced have to be replaced on a per caliper inch basis. So it's not necessarily that they take out some number of trees and they replace an equal number of trees, but For those trees that count on a caliper inch basis, those get replaced and they have to equal at least that. And so they will be making up for all of the caliper inches they take out.
So there's like essentially a list of trash trees versus, and this is in the code.
Yeah.
They are. These are all hackberry and cedar are junk trees.
Cedar, hackberry. Willow,
Yes.
Hackberry, cedar. There's
I'm not sure about
elm.
the elm, but I know that cedar and hackberry are the two most common. They call them trash trees.
Yes, sir.
It's no loss to read the tree mitigation policy. Do it by overhead picture. And then the formula and find the trees. We do a good job of that, I think.
There's a list of food, native
Yeah.
trees.
Yeah, we're glad to, yeah, so everyone can hear us online and in person. The mask, it's kind of difficult to. It's probably my fault.
Are those residences nearby? Are those the apartments?
Yes, sir. The applicant's architect is also online and has his hands raised. If you want to hear from him.
I think that if they have something, that they're really dying to say, that'd be great. I mean, now, does the commission have any specific questions that we can type out to them or questions for the applicant? Because I think if we target them to focus our questions, I mean, to me, the most telling sign is that we've gotten 0 letters and concern of this, which just means that people have been notified, which is part of that residential area has got notified. And there's no one that thought that this was a big issue. So I'm happy to hear anyone. I just don't want to miss the target. The blue line around the blue line, I think that marks the 250 feet.
So the blue line marks the 200 feet of who gets noticed. Now that goes to the owner of the complex, not the individual occupants. There is a sign posted on the property, however, so if someone was driving by, they do have notice even if they aren't the owner.
Good question.
So the proposal is to change 6 lots to a single plan development, highway commercial plan development. So it's consolidating 6 lots.
Portions of 6 lots.
One portion, right. And then giving some to the town and then having access to planners.
Right. So yeah, we're moving a lot of lot lines around. There's, I believe, 4 lots that make up the actual development, and then they're changing the lot line of the extreme air property, and then the current Riverstone pump station lot layout is changing. We're getting over an acre of property netting in addition. So we think that's a good deal for us as far as future expansion of the Riverstone pump station. We know we're going to have to do that here pretty soon. So this gives us the land that we were already going to have to figure out how to get anyways. So that's another positive of working through this.
Yeah, that's the pump station.
And then can you explain just the reason for the chain link fence? Why the,
Yeah, so around the extreme air property, they are having to add screening because outdoor storage yards now require screening. This was an older storage yard that actually doesn't comply currently, but since they're changing it, they are adding screening that complies. That'll either be ornamental metal or a chain link fence with vinyl, but it'll have landscaping on the outside of it that is intended to be so dense that you can't even see the chain link fence or the ornamental landscaping. They are also proposing a chain link fence not to meet the screening requirement, but against the western property line, not up against 80, but kind of back where the dense tree line starts in the park. And we thought that given that it's kind of a dense natural area, there's no one back there. We thought that chain link was sufficient for screening in that location. Not screening, but a sufficient fence material in that location, since it wasn't an occupied property as it normally would be.
And that's city of Mesquite, and then, oh, not city of Mesquite, that's city of Dallas, right? That's the Samuel's Farm.
It's
Samuel's Farm?
it's the Samuel Farm. It's owned by the city of Dallas. I think it's in Mesquite ETJ. I don't think it's in Dallas proper.
Territorial jurisdiction, yeah, but correct, yeah.
Do we have any idea what kinds of distribution centers they might have, or how many vehicles, how many big trucks and so forth?
They don't have tenants picked out for this. It could be distribution, it could be light manufacturing. So we really don't have any details like that yet.
I'm just thinking if there's a big addition to that, that's going to be wear and tear on that service road, which we already have got a big distribution center going in there now. So hopefully you are looking at how to handle all that traffic.
And Charles, correct me if I'm wrong, but really the highway commercial, it's already zoned highway commercial.
It's zoned highway commercial.
So they
Light manufacturing and distribution are allowed with SUD. This is just a PD that allows that use by right, but also changes some of the development standards for building articulation and the interior landscaping requirements and stuff like that to just make more sense for a large distribution facility like this. But the use is already a consideration that's allowed with an SUD in highway commercial.
I think that's the key there. It's already allowed in highway commercial.
The other thing to consider as far as the wear and tear on the service road is this TxDOT does have plans to come in and expand 80 and redo the service road. I believe they're coming back with all concrete. So the current condition will go away in the next few years, and I think it'll be built back to withstand a little bit more wear and tear than the asphalt road can.
Well, I live on that side of the of 80 and I use that a lot. Yes.
Eric Langford, the applicant, has his hand raised again. Eric, you want to try talking? See if we can hear you this time.
Can you hear me now? Can anyone hear me? Yeah.
Hey, Brenda, what's the policy if someone was trying to comment, they raised their hand, but then the communication wasn't able to go through? Does that stop anything from going forward? Okay.
I'm happy to entertain a motion. Unless there's
Should we-
questions or concerns, I mean, again, this is, to me, in my few years here, this is one of those things where it's best left to the staff and the developer to sort of get through all these things. And since, I mean, you can see all the work that's put into this, because this is not a straightforward first pass. It's, one of our staff, I can just tell by things are just done a little bit better with the parking, and the trees look better. The landscape is a little bit nicer. It's not, they've obviously talked to the staff, and the staff have given feedback already. And so to me, this is how it should work. And also, we're just kind of sorting through the gold mine here.
Chairman Peace, I stepped out to try and contact the applicant, but did we have the public hearing?
We did. I'm
Okay.
sorry, you missed it. Unless you want to say something that.
I'm good. Just want to make sure we had it.
Yeah. I didn't forget twice, only once. So yeah, I'm happy to entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve agenda item AIR-21-143, the proposed plan development
Oh, second,
With the updated landscape plan.
with the updated landscape plan.
and I'll second.
So I have a motion for approval with the updated landscape plan. I have a second for the updated approval with the updated landscape plan. All in favor? This also appears unanimous. Great, so that passes and we'll go on to the council meeting. The next item of business is to adjourn. And if anyone wants to stick around, I guess we can stick around. Otherwise, we'll take a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Great.
Second.
All in favor? No one wants to stick around, so I guess we'll adjourn. Thank you all. Oh, and I guess bookkeeping, there's another joint meeting with the city council. I guess get back to Philip or Charles if you can attend. If you can't, I guess get back with Philip or Charles. Or Charles, you mainly, I guess. Yeah.